Why you keep self-sabotaging without realizing. Most people assume self-sabotage is intentional. You procrastinate, you avoid opportunities, you undermine progress, and the explanation seems simple. You must lack discipline, but psychology suggests something more complicated. Much of what looks like self-sabotage is not deliberate. It is unconscious. Your mind may be working against you without you fully realizing it. Welcome to 10-Minute Books, where we explore the ideas behind the books that shape how we understand human behavior, psychology, and meaning. Today we explore one powerful explanation reflected across three influential works: Elephant in the Brain by Kevin Simler and Robin Hanson, The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker, and Behave by Robert Sapolsky. Why you keep self-sabotaging without realizing it. Elephant in the Brain begins with a provocative idea. Humans often hide their real motivations from themselves. We like to believe our actions are rational and intentional, but much of our behavior is driven by hidden incentives. The brain is not only designed to think, it is designed to justify. Simler and Hanson argue that our minds are built with blind spots. We protect certain beliefs about ourselves because they help maintain social standing and personal identity. This creates a strange situation. We can act in ways that undermine our own goals while still believing we are acting logically. For example, you may delay starting a project not because you lack ability, but because delay protects your identity. If you never fully try, you never fully risk failure. The brain quietly chooses safety over progress and then constructs a rational explanation afterward. This is not deliberate deception. It is motivated cognition. Your mind filters information to protect a preferred self-image. Ernest Becker explores a deeper layer of this process. In The Denial of Death, he argues that much of human behavior is driven by an attempt to avoid existential anxiety. The awareness that life is temporary, the awareness that we are vulnerable, the awareness that our achievements may ultimately be limited. To manage this anxiety, people build symbolic identities: careers, status, beliefs, achievements. These structures create a sense of meaning and permanence, but they also create psychological fragility. If an action threatens your identity, your mind may resist it, even if it leads to growth. Self-sabotage often appears at moments when identity feels at risk. Starting something ambitious risks public failure. Changing direction risks social judgment. Pursuing excellence risks discovering your limits. The mind protects identity by creating hesitation. This hesitation may look like laziness, but it is often fear disguised as caution. Robert Sapolsky provides a biological perspective. In Behave, he explains that human behavior emerges from a complex interaction of brain systems, hormones, past experiences, and environmental cues. The brain is not a single decision maker. It is a network of competing processes. Some parts seek reward. Some seek safety. Some prioritize social belonging. When these systems conflict, behavior can appear contradictory. You may consciously want success, while another part of your brain prioritizes avoiding stress or embarrassment. Self-sabotage can be the result of this internal conflict. The rational mind sets goals, but emotional systems regulate risk. When perceived threat increases, avoidance increases as well. This is not weakness. It is biology. The brain evolved to prioritize survival before achievement. Together, these three books reveal an important insight. Self-sabotage is often a protective mechanism. The mind protects identity. The mind protects status. The mind protects safety. Progress can threaten all three. This is why people sometimes undermine their own opportunities, not because they want failure, but because success carries psychological risk. Success raises expectations. Success increases visibility. Success creates pressure to maintain performance. The mind sometimes prefers predictable limitation over uncertain expansion. Another hidden factor is social signaling. Elephant in the brain suggests that many behaviors are shaped by how they affect social perception. You may avoid ambitious goals because failure is visible. You may choose safer paths because they protect reputation. You may rationalize hesitation because it preserves the appearance of control. The mind constantly balances internal goals with social signals. Self-sabotage can emerge when these signals conflict. Becker adds another dimension. If identity is built to defend against existential anxiety, then threatening identity can feel deeply uncomfortable. Changing careers, admitting uncertainty, taking risks that expose vulnerability, all of these challenge the narratives that make life feel stable. Avoidance protects psychological equilibrium. Sapolsky explains how stress amplifies these reactions. When the brain perceives threat, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for long-term planning, becomes less dominant. More primitive systems prioritize immediate safety. Under stress, the brain narrows focus. Avoidance becomes easier than exploration. This is why self-sabotage often appears during important transitions, new opportunities, major decisions, moments when identity might shift. The brain interprets these as uncertain environments, and uncertainty activates caution. But understanding these mechanisms changes the story. Self-sabotage is not simply lack of discipline. It is often misaligned protection. The mind protects what it believes matters most: identity, belonging, safety. The solution is not forcing behavior through willpower alone. It is recognizing the hidden incentives shaping behavior. When you understand what the brain is protecting, you can address the real concern. If fear of failure drives procrastination, the solution is not only productivity techniques, it is reducing identity risk. If social judgment drives hesitation, the solution may involve changing the environment. If stress disrupts focus, the solution may involve regulating physiological responses. Awareness creates leverage. Simler and Hanson remind us that motives are often hidden even from ourselves. Becker reminds us that identity protects us from deeper anxieties. Sapolsky reminds us that biology influences behavior in powerful ways. Together, they suggest a more compassionate understanding. You are not always fighting yourself. You are negotiating between different parts of your mind. When those parts align, progress becomes easier. When they conflict, hesitation appears. Self-sabotage is often a signal, not of weakness, but of misalignment. The task is not to eliminate these signals. The task is to understand them, because when the brain feels safe, aligned, and understood, the need for sabotage often disappears. That was Why You Keep Self-Sabotaging Without Realizing, explored through Elephant in the Brain, The Denial of Death, and Behave. Which perspective resonated most with you: motivation, identity, or biology? Let us know in the comments. And subscribe to 10-Minute Books for ideas that help you understand human behavior, decision-making, and the hidden forces shaping your life. Because sometimes the hardest obstacles are the ones we cannot see.